Good morning, everyone. Give me 2 seconds here. Sorry I'm late. All right, good morning all. My name's Matt. I'm from NXWitness and I run NXWitness for Australia and New Zealand. We've got a few slides and bits and pieces to go through. The first few are the advantages of NXWitness. And after that, we'll actually go through some of the cool new features. Now, we have actually started releasing some more new features in the last 24 hours for people to test and have a play with and stuff like that. But they don't actually get proper released until June. It's more like a beta for people to have a play with. But I'll go through those at the end. Also, on your screen, you'll notice a Q&A tab. If any of you guys have any questions, type them in there, and we'll get to those questions at the end and answer them all, one at a time, sort of thing. Okay, there's also a chat button as well. If you guys want to use that as well, you can send me a direct message and I can answer that as well. All right, the first thing we're going to talk about is about NXWitness. All right, so NXWitness has people all over the world. We've got head offices in Burbank, in California. There's no one actually there at the moment because they're in lockdown, so everyone's working from home, but that's the way it is. We've got people in Moscow, people in Taipei, people in the Netherlands, which we're trying to get a work conference there, which would be really cool. People in Adelaide, and we've now got people in Brisbane as well. And people in Paris who, same thing, not allowed to leave their apartments. And one guy in Barcelona who hasn't actually been able to go home for 3 months because he's stuck in England and can't get back to his house in Spain. So NXWitness currently has 90 employees. Actually, as of yesterday, it's now 91, but that's the way it is. We are 65% or a little bit over in development. So where that basically differs from other people is rather than fix old versions of our software, like if one of you guys sends a message saying such and such a feature is not working or such and such a camera is not working, we don't actually fix the old version. What we do is just make a new version. So every month we release basically an update which will add in features from new cameras, new DVRs, new encoders, or whatever. And what we just say is that new version, if you're instructed to by the support team or by your distributor, just download that and it will actually fix most of your issues. We have 2 different platforms that we use, one different platform. NXMeta is the base platform we use to make all our video systems. So NX around the world is actually known under a couple of different names. So if any of you guys use IPVM to look at ratings of products and stuff, in the US we're known as Digital Watchdog. In Australia and the rest of the world we're known as NXWitness. But also, some of you may or may not know, we actually make Hanwha's software for them as well, because to be honest, they just weren't capable of doing it. So we make theirs, just costs more. So don't use it. All right, there are 9 advantages that I like to say makes us different from other VMSs. I don't like to do it as a comparison to Milestone and other VMSs because we're different. We're not the same. Milestone have lots and lots of features built into it and stuff like that that we don't have and we're never going to have. We do things a little bit differently. So the main difference with us is, first thing is it's instantly usable. As soon as you plug it in, It automatically finds all the cameras on the network. All you need to do is put the username and the password in and turn on recording. We like to say that it takes about 2 minutes to do the install. And we say like naming cameras and all that sort of stuff, all the bits and pieces, you generally installed in under 5 minutes, and that includes getting it onto people's phones. The licensing is simple. We have 3 different types of license. Basically, we have a professional license, which is if you want to record any IP camera, it doesn't matter how many lenses that camera has, it's just the one license. We have an encoder license, where if you're using like a TVI machine or something like that from Hikvision, you buy one license and it does 4 cameras. And we have a video wall license, where if you buy one license, it does two monitors. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no software cost. The software is free. You pay to record. It doesn't matter if you have one license or if you have 10,000 licenses. It's the same piece of software. You don't pay for the number of users. You don't pay for anything like that. And there's no ongoing costs ever. We'll update the software free of charge for the life of the product every 6 months or so with the latest update. The user manual is built into it, so it's nice and easy. It's drag and drop, so the customers don't really have to figure out anything how to do. There's no prerequisite on the software. There's no training to use it. You can do an operator a course, which is built into our my.network Optix page, and that's free to do. It takes a couple of hours and teaches you some really cool stuff. We work with 99% of cameras and NVRs on the market. The ones that we don't work with are old school Mobotics, because they don't have any ONVIF compliance, and with some Ubiquity cameras, same thing, they don't have ONVIF. But as long as you can pick up an RTSP stream, HTTP stream, or an ONVIF stream, we can work with it. We can automatically discover webcams. We can work with virtual cameras. A virtual camera is pretty cool, and I'll show you a video on how that works later. Web pages is also really cool. I'm actually going to show you that one live because I really like it and I use it a lot. So I'm going to grab my NXWitness here. I'm going to bring it up. Here's my system that I've got at home. As you can see, this is lovely Adelaide and it's pissing with rain. Here I've got a thing called web pages. So what I can do here, and this is for anyone that we actually use this a fair bit with, what are they called? Shops and stuff like that. So you've got one camera monitoring people coming in, and then what they can do is they can have a live web page of their specials, bananas and 99 cents or whatever you want to call it. And then you can just press F11 and it takes it full screen, and they can use that as their, showing what's being on special and bits and pieces like that. You will notice as well that that's actually a license plate recognition camera from Hikvision. So I can click on my bookmarks there and see SZ35 BMS car will go past at some point. Yeah, and that's a free integration as well. It's just built into the software. So you can use web pages, and the other thing you can do that as well is people that aren't that smart. We actually got YouTube videos on how to do all our stuff. So if they forget how to export video, they can just drag across a video on how to export footage or whatever you want. Depending on what access control system you're using as well, you could technically bring in the control system if it's got a live web page for your access control platform, and you could have that on the VMS so they could arm, disarm, or whatever access control platform you're using as well. NXWitness is fast. It's really fast. As I said before, you can install it and configure it in minutes. But here's the one difference between us and other VMSs. So I'm going to disconnect from this one as soon as I can get that bit of the page back. It's right in the way. Task Manager, I'm just going to close that one down because it's right in my way. Start again. I'll come back to it later. So here's all my video down the bottom here that I've got recorded. Everything you see down the bottom in the green light is recording. If I want to search for motion on any of that boxes, all I do is click that box. Anything that populates red is motion. I can take it back to playback video that quickly. Now I can search through 2 years worth of recorded video from anywhere in the world in about 2 seconds. That's a pretty big difference between us and VMSs. The ability to stream video really, really fast. I wish I could get rid of that thing. There we go. I'm going to go to a US system and you'll see how fast I can bring back the video from there. So here's Burbank and here's our ping pong table. Drag it across. Everywhere down the bottom that you see is recorded video in green. So it goes all the way back to 2017. So I'm going to click on the motion button there. It'll populate red in a couple of seconds. And then I can take it back to that recorded video that quickly. And then I can zoom in if I want, take it into frame by frame. Take it back to specific blocks, whatever I want to do. And one of the main differences us, again, is I can actually do that from my phone as well. So we have the ability to smart search video from your phone. And you can do the smart search, you can draw a little box on a particular area that you're looking for motion as well. It's a pretty cool little difference between us and other little VMSs and recorders out there. It's lightweight. So what I mean by that is as you can see there, we can use a Raspberry Pi as a server. We can actually put 4 cameras onto a Raspberry Pi. For 128 cameras, we need i5, 8 gig of RAM. If you want to do the cameras and the client, which we never recommend, but you're welcome to do it, i5, 16 gig of RAM, and just a good graphics card. It's nice and easy to use. We can run on Windows for server and client. For Mac, we can just run the client, Linux, server and client, and then we can do some certain ARM devices as well, like Raspberry Pi and NVIDIA Jetson and some cool stuff like that. It's extremely dependable. You know, we get used in everything that Elon Musk does for a reason, because it's easy to install. It's got built-in failover. So if you have 2 servers and one of the servers stops recording, the other server will automatically pick up the recording for up to 30 days. But we'll actually do a live demo of that coming up in a minute. It can integrate with anything. So our SDKs and APIs are 100% open. So if there's something that you specifically want done or integrated or whatever, it's just a matter of asking us to do it, and we'll find out if it can be done, and we can either add it to our timeline or we can find someone that can actually do it. So if any of you guys still use TCOM, we actually did integration with their C4 platform recently. It wasn't able to be done by our development team because they were busy. So we just contracted a local IT company to do it, and he had it done in about 3 weeks. Currently, Integrity or InRange, whatever you want to call them, are doing integration with us at the moment for their panel. We've just done the Inception panel. We've got ICT Protege panel done, and a few other ones as well. And there's more coming. It's really customizable. And what we mean by that is you can make it do whatever you really want it to do. So as you saw with my license plate recognition camera that I had working. So that's my license plate recognition camera there. What I can do with that is I can, by right-clicking on the camera and going to camera rules, I can create rules nice and easily. So I can look for an analytic event built into that camera. I click on the camera and automatically the software knows that that camera has unattended baggage, face detection, intrusion detection, LPR, whitelist and blacklist, motion, tampering, vehicle, whatever I want. So I can click on a whitelist. I can click on what I'd like to do with it, whether I want to control the camera output, camera recording, open a layout onto screen. In June, we'll have push notifications, control a PTZ, you know, some cool stuff. And that's just built into the software, nice and easy to do. You can add your own customized layouts. You can add a map. You can add your own background to it if you want. There's really nothing stopping you from doing anything that you want to do. You can just right click on system administration and add a background to it nice and easily. Like everything that we've built into the software is designed to be easy and nice and, you know, simple for you guys to do. NXWitness, as I said before, has free upgrades and online support for the life of the product. There's no ongoing costs at all. You can move the licenses from server to server 3 times free. After that, you just need to give us a pretty good reason of why you're doing it. And saying you keep moving it from job to job generally isn't a good reason. But if your servers keep failing because of installer fault or whatever, that's an okay reason, and we'll just deactivate it again for you. The NX Cloud is free. The NX Cloud is pretty cool. So what you can do there is you click here, open NX Cloud portal. Takes you through to the NX Cloud. And NX Cloud is used to control the users in a system. You can still do it into the actual software itself, but you can go, where's my system? Home. So the SI has installed it, they've put it under their own name, and then they're like, all right, the customer wants another user added. All you do is click on your system, go to users, add a user, put their email address in and their user level. And you can do it as a custom if you want. Custom means you can literally make it whatever you want. If they get caught stealing, you just click on remove user and they're deleted. It's nice and simple and easy. And that's the whole point of it. You can still click on the system, go into system administration and create different users and bits and pieces like that and give them specific edit roles and all those sorts of things. You can also bring in the Active Directory if you want, just by going to LDAP and bringing it in. It saves money. So we did a VMS kind of shootout recently against some other ones. It didn't have any of the fancy features and bits and pieces. It was a basic sort of system VMS. So they were just looking to be able to record video and playback video and search video fast. So because the software was free and the licenses were generally cheaper than the other competition anyway, and the hardware that we needed was significantly less than other people's, we were substantially cheaper than the opposition companies we were quoting in. So I'm not saying, certain other VMSs can do things that we can't. It's just a fact. They can do lots of analytics and bits and pieces like that. We can't do those, and we never will add those features in. We get those features from the cameras or from our analytic partners. So if you have an LPR camera, we'll grab the analytics from that. If you have line crossing built into the camera, we'll grab the analytics from that. It's a hell of a lot cheaper to do it that way than it is to build it into the actual software itself. New features in our latest version. This is Tony.
Another cool new feature in version 4.0, and perhaps one of the key features for 4.0 is the Metadata SDK. So if you look at our system architecture, the Metadata SDK is right down here. It's a C++ SDK, and it's used to create plugins for integrating third-party intelligent systems and devices. In 4.0, it's really aimed at video analytics, specifically deep learning-driven object detecting video analytics. And what it allows a third party to do is request frames from an NXWitness server in all sorts of different formats, anything that a deep learning driven application may need. Then once you get those frames, it allows you to return metadata. Metadata is data about data. That's what meta means. It's about itself. So metadata is data that is attached or comes from the video that's being pulled and is being returned to us. So that includes the objects detected, the bounding box information, like how big the object is, a metadata tag. So if it's a person detecting algorithm, it'll tell you this is this person. For Vision Labs integration, for example, which I'll show you later, you'll see the person, whether or not they're recognized, their age, and their emotional state. And that information will come along with the bounding boxes and the path information, like where is this person or this object moving. And why that's important is it allows us to draw bounding boxes and other information on top of the system. So you can actually see it right now in my system. If I open up the webcam here and I go to objects, and get rid of this minimum grid size I set up. So if I go to objects for the, sorry, wrong one. So you can see here, it's found me. So if I go back and I click on this event, you can see there's my information coming in, my age, my gender, and my emotional state. See, I'm angry a lot apparently. Not great. But here I am neutral. That's good. So I'm neutral. So this is the Metadata SDK. It's a super powerful development tool allowing third-party object video-based analytics to really integrate seamlessly with NXWitness, which allows us to do things like search. You can see down here, anytime data has been detected there, I can pull it up and it'll show you the information, just like Smart Search works the same way. Then I can select a specific area and I can look for faces in that particular area, pull me up. So Metadata SDK, a key new feature in version 4.0. It's available in 4.0. It will be downloadable via cloud. It is a rather larger SDK, so we're not going to be packaging it together like we have in the past, but it will be made available so that it's easy to find, just like we have in the past. So Metadata SDK, check it out. Another new feature in version 4.0 is what we call stage system updates. So in the past, if you had a system with multiple servers and you wanted to upgrade to a new version, you would go in and do the one-click system-wide updates, right? Just a refresher, system administration updates. And this is where you would do your upgrade. You could update to a specific build, you can update offline, you can update online. There's lots of different ways to do an upgrade. But when you started an upgrade, what would happen was your client would download the upgrade package and then it would push it to each available server. Now, that's great if you're on the same local area network and you've only got a few servers. It typically is going to work without a problem. But if you're in an environment where you've got a system that's set up in remote locations with servers spread across many locations, you have to wait basically for the update package to be pushed, and then the upgrade would take place. And a lot of times, or not a lot of times, sometimes one of the servers may get disconnected during that process and may not fully upgrade, and so you have to go in and do it again, or manually do it. So in order to make the whole upgrade and update process much more stable, much more reliable, now we have what's called staged updates. So I've actually recorded a video, because it's a little hard to do, where I have done the upgrade process, and I'll just explain it here. So I go into system administration, go to updates, I'm going to update to a specific build. In this case, it's going to be 29640. And then I've got to put in the upgrade password, which is some gibberish that our guys put together and generated. And you can see now it's ready for upgrading. So when I press download, what's going to happen is it's going to download all the updates that I need. Now, since I'm connected with my client, it's going to download a new client first, and then it's going to download the update packages for all the servers in the system. At the time was the NX2, my one server, and my desktop computer, right? So you can see these downloads happening. Now the updates are being downloaded directly to each server, as opposed to being downloaded all to one location. And then it's going to be, the system's going to go and it's going to check and make sure that everything's been delivered before the upgrade process actually begins. And this way you can make sure that all the update packages are deployed to each server in the system, and that the upgrade is going to be much more reliable. So once this is downloaded and upgraded, I'll move forward a little bit. So this video isn't too long. You can see it's installing now in all those locations, right? When it's installed, you'll see a little check mark, right? Say that it's installed and ready. And the number will turn to green. Move forward again. So you can still wait. So now we've got the 3 servers installed. As they're being installed, they'll go offline. And when it's done, you'll see the system has come back online. We'll log out and reconnect like before. And now you can see that the version is up to 29640. All components have been upgraded and the upgrade process is complete. So slightly different change to the way that the upgrade process works for NXWitness VMS.
This is a cool one, guys. You'll like this one.
Another cool new feature in version 4.0 is virtual camera. We went through a lot of different names when we were thinking about what to call this. We went for a wearable camera or body cam or action camera. But given that this feature was designed to allow you to upload offline videos into the archive and treat them just like a normal IP camera, we decided that virtual camera would be the kind of widest explanation of what this is. So how the virtual camera feature works is you go to your server. Let me delete this one because I was playing with it a second ago. Go up to the top here, sorry, new, go to virtual camera. You're going to be asked to pick a server that you want to put this virtual camera on. I'm going to call it desktop. I'm going to name it Tony Phone. Right. So now you can see over here in the tree, I've got Tony Phone that's shown up, and the camera settings dialog will pop up. You can import fisheye images. So if you've got a body cam with a fisheye lens on it and you need to dewarp it, you can do that. Under expert settings, we have the logical ID for developers who want to interact with this virtual camera. If you're not sure what that means, don't worry about it. Developer, get it. And under general here, we got a couple different choices. We got upload footage. We got image control, which allows you to flip it if you record it upside down for some reason. And we've got motion detection. So when you're importing a file into a virtual camera, you can detect motion on it. And then you can apply the same sensitivities that you would on a normal IP camera. So I'm going to leave it at detect motion and sensitivity 5. Obviously, if you got a guard walking around, there's going to be lots of motion. That's basically what this video is. You can see how it looks. So I go to upload file. I'm going to go to my pictures. And I've got a phone video that I did, office walk around. I'm going to press open. And you're going to see it start to upload into the archive. Now, if you've chosen a server that's remotely, the upload may take a little longer. I've chosen the same computer to upload my footage into, so it's going to be pretty quick. But you can see that as it's uploaded, you can see the percentage that it is complete here on the camera settings dialog. You can also see it here in the tree. So if you've got a large file, you can close this out, and it will continue to upload even if you close this out. And when it's done, then you'll get a notification that it's done. Place this video on the timeline. One other thing to consider is if you've got multiple cameras or multiple files that you're uploading into the same virtual camera, if they have the same time zone, then you're not going to be able to upload or time data you're not going to be able to upload 2 clips in the same time. So think about that. If you've got multiple body cams out there, it's better just go ahead and create multiple virtual cameras. One reason is virtual camera is free. It's not a licensed feature, so you don't need a license for the virtual camera. So that's cool. So the file has been uploaded. If I go to Tony's phone here, now I can see that today at around 2:57 p.m., I started recording this file. And 16:9, obviously I switched it to horizontal. So this is me with my phone, walking around the office, kind of showing what's happening, right? So if you think about this, virtual camera is great for like body cams, tours. The original kind of reason that we developed this feature was actually for Fukushima nuclear power plant in Japan, where they were having some issues, and they needed to be able to pull out recorded information from some robotic devices they had going and looking at the scenario there and seeing what was going on inside the old nuclear reactor. So this is the virtual camera feature, completely free, like I said, to create virtual cameras. Once you've created this video, you can still now search it for motion and everything else. You can see this is solid motion because, well, I was walking around. But really cool feature, available in version 4.0. Download it and give this a try, and tell us what you think. Another new feature in version 4.0 is failover on storage failure. So you can see me right now. There's an NX2 down there with 4 drives in it. And what failover on storage failure is, in the past, if you had a server running and the computer failed, power supply, network failure, that type of thing, then you would see failover occur in the system. But if a storage location failed, you wouldn't necessarily get a storage failure. The cameras would continue to operate, but not necessarily capture the video. So in version 4.0, we've introduced this feature so that if the storage fails on a server, then the cameras will fail over, even though the server application may continue to be run on that device, since it's not actually recording the footage, then the cameras will move to a new server that has available storage on it. So I'm going to try and show you real fast, and if the demo gods are smiling, everything will work. So pull out all 4 drives from the system here. The hotspot drives, certain amount of the NX2. They're no longer connected. Right. Now the storage is out. Failover, remember, runs every 1 minute or so, so it'll take about a minute before the system will recognize that the storage is not available. There you go. So you can see the drives have begun to fail over. If I go look at the NX2 right now, and I look at storage management, all the drives have been gone. There is one that does store analytics data. I'm going to go ahead and disable that one as well and apply. And you can see most of the cameras have failed over, so the demo gods were smiling slightly upon me, but I can just move the rest of them over. And just like before, when I put that information back, or put those drives back, then the cameras should come back. So the drives are back in. It'll take a minute for the operating system to recognize them as being available. And then we should see them start to come back in to their original position once that is done. So now it's just a waiting game. So you see the drives have just come back online. Re-enable that sucker. They're all enabled. Press apply. Right. Okay. And the system will take another minute or so to move all the cameras back to their original position. Now, the 3 that I manually moved over may not move. That's all right. We can move them back manually again. There you go. The cameras have now moved back to their original position, except for the 3 that I manually moved. I'm going to go ahead and manually move those back over as well. And everything will be back online shortly. But this is failover on storage failure. Cool new feature in version 4.0. Hopefully you'll never have to use it, but it's available now.
It's pretty self-explanatory though. H.265 works. You can actually merge in the cloud that I showed you before. You can actually merge two systems via the cloud. So what we mean by merging is basically having the ability to have multiple servers on one tree. So if you look here, if I disconnect from that one, oh, sorry, wrong one. Just gotta wait for that to load so I can disconnect from it. Disconnect, I'm gonna go to demo system US. So you can see here when it comes up, I've got some cameras in Taipei and some cameras in Los Angeles. So I can grab one from there and one from there. And that's what we mean by merging, basically making two systems become one system. We're not doing failover in those two systems. We're just giving the ability to have it in one, what we call tree on the left-hand side. Custom watermark, this is,
A really cool feature in version 4.0 is custom watermark over video. And this feature allows you to add a watermark which will display over the top of video being viewed in the system by any user who's not an administrator. And the idea here is that even if you have operators reviewing footage with advanced viewer rights or live viewer rights, one of the things we can't do is prevent people from recording screens with sensitive video. You may have seen this in like social media. You'll see guys have like used their cell phone to record like a video clip of something that's happened in the security system, and then that gets shared on social media. So you don't know, who was the operator that was recording this information or sharing this information externally, right? This is a way for administrators to ensure that any videos that's displayed in the system, if it gets shared somehow, you'll have an audit ability to find out who shared it. So how it works is you go to System Administration, and there's a new check mark called Display Watermark with Username over Video. And then you can click on Watermark Preview to see how many times that username is going to show up. Me, personally, I only want it to show up once. I want the opacity to be like pretty low, right? Press OK, press Apply. So now I have watermark over live video. Since I'm an administrator and the owner of the system, I'm not going to see it. So I've set up another user here called Tony. So this is a demonstration of what this user will look like when they log into the system. So now if I click here, you can see Tony is on every single video that I pull up. Tony. So that is a custom watermark over video feature available in 4.0. Again, it's to prevent the kind of unauthorized spread of video that's been captured or is being reviewed in the system. Check it out.
Yeah, this one's kind of important.
In 4.0, we decided to make the entire platform a bit more secure. And the way that we did that was to enact secure communications between all kind of platform components. So just a refresher, if you look at the system architecture for NXWitness, then you can see that we have the different components. You got desktop, you got mobile, you got server, you got cloud. All these different components are connected either over secure networks or over public networks. When you are using HTTP communication, you're basically communicating in the clear. People can act like a man in the middle and intercept that communication if they understand how the communication works. Maybe they can decipher that communication, right? Or intercept that communication. With secure connections, we're using SSL and HTTPS, which are secure encrypted communications, 256-bit encryption, same as what you use at your bank when you communicate with your bank online. And what that does is it prevents man-in-the-middle attacks, or if someone is to intercept the system traffic somehow, they wouldn't be able to really decipher it because it's encrypted with 256-bit encryption. And it's really simple to activate in the system. You go to System Administration, and you see here, allow only secure connections. And when you click that, From now on, all communication taking place between system components, whether it's the desktop client and the server, or the mobile and the server, or the web environment, web client and the server, all those, the system forces a secure connection using that 256-bit encryption. And it's just that simple. So
some of these are a little bit boring. Secure export. We're going to go to the question and answers because there's been a heap come through so far. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in here and we'll go through them as much as we can. If you want to send me emails as well with any questions that you might think of after, my email address is mharrison, HARRISON, @networkoptix with an x.com. Send me any questions you have about our software, and I'll answer them as best I can. What metadata do you collect and do you record it separately and for how long? So the metadata we're actually recording is in the form of movement and bits and pieces in the actual video itself. So when you go into our actual software itself, the easiest way to do is if you click on the motion, you might not be able to see too well, but the actual box itself gets divided into separate little boxes. And those separate little boxes we turn into ones and zeros. And that's the ability we have to be able to search through video faster than other people, is because we're not searching through video, we're searching through metadata. It's a lot easier to search for metadata than it is to search through video, if that makes sense. Metadata is stored for as long as you've got hard drive space. It's a nice way of calling it. Demo version download. No, we don't have a demo version of a download. What we can do is just give you a full version of a download. Send me an email of how many licenses you would like for testing and for how long you would like to test it. And I'll give you a license key to play with. We want people to play with this software. The maximum you can do is 90 days for a demo version. But we really want people to have a play with it. So just send me an email. As I said before, my email is mharrison@networkoptix.com. If you can't remember or you haven't written down, just send any of the boys at VST an email with how many cameras you would like, and we'll get you a demo license key. If you guys have this in your home, the more likely you are to play with it. Can you create virtual cameras from fisheyes? Yes, you can. You can't do record. You can only do bring in the footage afterwards though. If you want to do live recording, live footage of it, it's not really a virtual camera. That's more of just a camera. So you can view them live. So if you've got one of the Hikvision body-worn cameras as an example, you can bring that footage in live and watch it live free of charge. When you want to record it is when you need to buy a license, if that makes sense. Also virtual cameras with PTZ presets. It's not really a virtual camera if it's a PTZ with presets and stuff like that. That's more of it's just it's a proper camera. If you're doing that, it's really it's a camera, and sort of from there. Is it possible to use metadata from other sources and superimpose it on the image like a CAS register? Yes. So you can use, if you go to our website, which is called my.networkoptix, as soon as I can get us to it. If you go to my.networkoptix, there's a whole heap of different bits and pieces that you can actually do. You can actually look at all the POS systems and bits and pieces we've already got integration with. We've already done heaps of stuff like that. If you go into point of sale here, there's heaps of different ones. There's license plate recognition, there's banking, video analytics, way tracking. So you can bring all that sort of stuff in. It just depends on whether we've already done it or not. Lots of them we've already done. We've just won a big one in New Zealand, which is with one called Retalix. Away that one goes. But yes, you can definitely do that. Is there an automated process for moving a license to another machine? Yeah, it's really simple. So all you do, I'm just going to go to my system, my home. All you do is right click on system administration, go to your licenses, and there'd be a deactivate button here, but I'm just using free timed license. But it's basically just a deactivate button. And then that license key, you can then copy and paste it to your new server. It's nice and simple. If a server dies before you have the chance to move them, then you just got to contact your distributor and they'll deactivate it for you. Can NXWitness with VMs be backed up? Yep, you can definitely back up the settings. You just go here and create backup. And then you can just restore from backup. It's really simple. People counting data, how long do you store it for? Just the counting? We don't store that data at all. That's all done on the camera. So people counting and that sort of stuff, like the height vision cameras and that sort of stuff, have it built in. So we're just all we're doing is creating analytics out of their cameras. That's it. Sorry, using the analytics built into their camera. We don't actually create that data on our own. Are there any other questions, guys? Like I said, I'm happy to take any of your questions coming up over the next however long. You can get my phone number from Dan or from any of the guys at VSP, and I'm happy to talk to you about any integrations or any solutions that you're looking for cool stuff with. If any of you guys want trial licenses, just send me a request and I'll give you as many licenses as you want. We're running a trial of this in airports and bits and pieces, and they're running 500-600 cameras as a trial. We're happy to do whatever because we want you guys to play with it. If there are no more questions or anything like that, I'll let you guys get on with your day. Oh, hang on. Ollie Tech, 40 cameras. Can I copy that? Copy. Yep, I've copied that, Ollie, and I'll send that through to you today. Any other questions, guys? Price, you have to get that from VSP, mate.